We got your back, Jack. Your next question may be, will I be better off buying something else rather than buying your program? Well, that's always a decision that you have to make. We're confident that our platform will help you make more money in your pocket, help you meet tons of new people, get you where you can buy more of the things that you desire and want. As I spoke about yesterday, if you look at your friends, pick your 5 closest friends, and I will guarantee you that within 10%, that's the money that you're making month in, month out. We want to show you and encourage you on how to grow your net worth by making new friends while strengthening your bonds with your existing tribe. You may ask, will another competing program come out next week? To that answer, I say, well, this ain't Apple phones. When times become uncertain, people tend to retract. We're coming out of an unnatural tide of events never experienced by many in our generation before in our country's history. Entrepreneurs are always introducing new shiny objects, but you're getting a platform that's been tried and proven over the last 45 years by me and has generated over $100 million in property transactions. It's a proven system. You may think, do I know enough to even make a decision? Well, that's our primary strength, latency and honesty. If you ever want specific information, just ask. We strive to always overperform as we believe written information is so much more valuable than just spoken words. Should I invest in something else, you may ask yourself? Sure, we believe diversity is how you achieve great wealth. That's my experience. But conduct due diligence on the vehicles that you choose. Stocks, mutual funds, oil and gas are all the casualties of this last economy slump. But there's plenty of sectors in real estate and tax certificates that offer highly attractive investment opportunities. Is this going to be a mistake, Richard? Well, that's a question, again, you have to answer yourself. But it's not going to be a mistake because there's not going to be accountability, information, implementation, branding, contact skills developed. You're going to have all the best that we have to offer. We're committed to providing substantial and proven specific knowledge training, workshops, and proven executive coaching, either on demand or through a coaching program. We believe in controlling our variables, but the one unknown variable in this whole calculation is you and your motivation. If you bring massive action and follow our training instructions without variation, I guarantee you, you're going to be successful. You may ask yourself, Richard, is this company going to let me down? Not no, but heck no. Simple Sales Coach is committed to providing the best community, which is also known as a tribe, to interact and grow relationships with other motivated investors, just like yourself. Everything we do or will do will be done to provide the highest value that can be provided. If you ever feel like our platform is letting you down in any way, I want you to talk to me. I'm committed to handling large and every single complaint you may have with honesty and timeliness. The big question, what's my guarantee? Well, that's a great question. Let me rephrase it and ask you the same question in reverse. What's your guarantee that in obtaining a membership, you're going to work and achieve the results you deserve? There are no agreements, there are no written contracts. If you ever feel the platform is not providing the value you seek, you may leave at any time with no consequence, but obviously with no refunds either. We're putting our time, our work, and our life into this, and we just ask that you bring the massive action that's going to be required to help you gain results. But before you leave, if you ever choose that, please reach out to me, Richard, at support@simplesalescoach.com. I always want to provide the highest value to every tribe member possible. So that's it, guys. That's our frequently asked questions. And I'm going to now pass the gauntlet over to my friend and partner, Marquee Man.
Well, great. Thanks, Richard. Please mute your. Great. Okay. Thank you, sir. Hello, my name is Mark Heeman, and I'm going to be your technical expert in this journey through real estate investing. I've got a lot of training history that I want to share with you. I've got training history in many different fields. I'm really excited about this unique opportunity that we're going to have to offer. Now, one of the things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be hosting weekly webinars. And these are going to be training sessions, if you will, webinars, where I'm going to teach you how to do the things that you're going to need to do in this real estate investment journey that you're getting ready to go on. And so most of the time, I'm not going to be sitting here talking to you like I am right now. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on my computer. That's what I do best. And I'm going to show you how to do stuff. All right. So I'm not from Missouri, but I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm going to show you. All right. So with that, let me get it started here. I'm going to share my screen with you. And here we go. And I've got some things that that I'd like to pass on to you. So first off, I want to start off with a little history about myself. All right, my dad was in the service. I was born and raised in Germany and Italy in the 60s. So it was quite a wild ride. We moved to San Antonio, where I went to high school and college. And right out of college, I moved to Austin, Texas in 1985. And I quickly got a job with a small PC startup. When I started there in 85, I was a 14th person hired. And when I left in 91, there was over 2,400 employees with this company. The PC industry didn't get red hot, it got white hot. When I left in 91, the company had just tipped over $500 million in sales. And it was quite the experience. You know, things were moving so fast. The company was growing so fast. Anybody who stuck their hand up and said, hey, I want a project, you got a project. My first project that they sent me on they sent me to Europe. Me and a buddy, we were sent to Switzerland, where we opened up the European operation for this company, CompuAd. All right, so I was there for about 1.5 years, and when I came back, the company was getting into this retail expansion. And by the way, there was this new sales guy who just come into CompuAd. He was this young guy, he was sharp, he was energetic, brought a lot of bustle and energy, and it just always seemed to be a couple of steps ahead of everybody else. Well, this guy at that time became my mentor. And by the way, this guy is Richard McLemore, the guy who was just talking to you. So Richard and I go way back to 1987. But Richard put me in positions where I had an opportunity to really excel or really fail, very high visibility type projects. I was on a team where we did site locations and site negotiations for this chain of retail stores that we opened up. And by the way, I think we got up to near 90 stores across America. I was 25, 26 years old. I had just come back from Europe. I was traveling across America, and I thought life could not get any better. I thought that everybody in America, if you worked hard, these are the kind of opportunities you get. Well, in 1991, I left CompuAd and started up a small computer shop. Right about that time, IBM and Compaq dropped their pricing, and the clone wars were on. So after working this for a couple of years and just working our fingers to the bone and not just barely paying bills, we sold the company. From there, things got pretty pretty intense. While I was at CompuAd, let me step back a little bit, but while I was in CompuAd, Richard, my mentor, made sure that I had training courses of all sorts. Lotus spreadsheet, if y'all are old enough to remember Lotus, they had a spreadsheet program. I did that. I took training courses on all kinds of Microsoft products, Microsoft Windows. I even got trained up in the Microsoft networking program. There was one time where Richard sent me to this motivational camp. It was a 3-day camp hosted by Ed Foreman. And we called it the Happy Dog Camp, because when you came back, you were healthy, happy, healthy, and terrific. And it was just kind of, it was kind of infectious. It was pretty neat. And to this day, Ed Foreman is still one of my go-to guys. When I'm feeling down, I just think about some of the lessons that Ed taught me. And you know what, it picks me back up. It gets me back on the right track. So I've been taking all these training courses, and in the early 1990s, and I'm sure you'll be able to understand where I'm coming from, but early 90s, I was watching late night TV and I saw this infomercial, and it was this guy selling a training session on subject to real estate actions. And I was very, very interested. So I paid the money, and I had this training course sent to me. And it was a training course. The training course was some cassettes and VHS tapes, and they were horrible quality. The production quality was terrible. And most of the content was all about how much money you were going to make. So there was this guy, and he had pictures of these big mansions and Maseratis and, you know, pools with beautiful ladies in bikinis and boats and all this. And there was a lot of that fluff and just very little meat. And the meat that was there was very high levels, 30,000 feet, where it was more like a marketing program than it was a training program. And so, you know, it scared the heck out of me, because I didn't know what I didn't know, but I knew that I didn't know it. So you know, I just kind of dropped it. It was and chalked it up to yeah, I lost my money on that deal, but you know, I'll chalk it up to experience. It was really scary. And so then I went into this career where I had all this technical knowledge, and I'm a pretty darn good networking engineer. So I went and took Microsoft certification courses. I was soon a Microsoft MCSE, a Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer. And I also got my MCT, a Microsoft Training Certificate. So for the next several years, I trained people on Microsoft curriculum. I trained them on their operating systems. I trained them on TCP/IP, how to build web pages, and numerous things. And from there, I got a job I was offered a job by this small software development company to manage their IT department. So I took it, and from there, I was offered a job as a CIO for a very small regional hospital. I took that job. And then I was offered a job as a manager for a publicly traded financial company. And after a couple of years, I was promoted to director of technology. And that job was super, super stressful. I mean, there wouldn't be a day when I didn't come in and talk to my boss, and he'd remind me, Mark, if we ever get hacked, you're going to be the first person that gets fired. Well, you know, I was in the process of buying a new house and all this stuff. And that stuff, you know, it was just so stressful that my eyes started twitching. It was an unhealthy atmosphere for me. I wanted to get back into training. So about 2012, I took a job as a training director for a high-tech network manufacturer. And I put together training programs for them, and a lot of the people that took my training would come back to me and tell me that I had the best training program in the industry. So I was doing training. I was also doing product marketing. So I was involved in that as well. Well, about 2011, I was still thinking about real estate, and my mentor, Richard McLemore, we bumped into each other. As a matter of fact, I was doing a training session in Orlando, and I get this call from Richard. He says, "Hey, what are you up to?" And oh man, I'm training. Can I call you back this evening? And so when I called him back, he had told me what he's been doing and how he's been successful in real estate, and if I was interested, and of course I was. So I took when I got back, we sat down, and Richard started to teach me the steps necessary to for this subject to thing that I had. I bought this program years ago, I knew nothing about it. Well, Richard was mentoring me. And within a couple of months, we had our first deal. And soon after that, we had our second one, and so on and so on and so on. But I had somebody pulling me along, not pushing me, but pulling me, because I wanted to go. I wanted to learn about this. In the meantime, what I've done is I've attended many training programs in real estate, subject to, excess funds, Airbnbs, just to name a few. Okay, and let me tell you, those training programs have come a long way since the early 90s, a long way. And some of them are pretty good, and some of them are not as good. But what I found was that they're still lacking the detail that you need to be successful in your business. Now, it's one thing, Richard's going to teach you all about, he's going to coach you about things that you need to do, about people you need to talk to, about the teams you need to build, and those sorts of things. What I'm here to do is I want to teach you how to do all the stuff that's going to make you successful that Richard's not going to talk about. Okay, so we've put together this program, and this is what makes us unique. Okay, when you go and you purchase a training program from anybody else right now on the market, you're going to purchase a program on subject to, or a program on Airbnb, or excess funds, or tax certificates. Okay, we are the first platform that is going to offer coaching, marketing, implementation, technical support on 7 different disciplines in real estate marketing, or real estate investments, excuse me. And so where I come into all this, Richard's going to coach you. I'm going to be providing these webinars once a week. And here's a list of the things that have just come off the top of my mind. I'm sitting down thinking, okay, if this were me, what did I not know when I first got into this? Okay, and so I just started coming up with a list of things, and there's a bunch of stuff here. Some of it is not going to pertain to you because maybe you're already an entrepreneur, or maybe you already have your company set up to do business. Okay, but if you don't, I'm going to help you do that. I'm going to talk to you about the things that you need to do. I'll help you where I can. I'll help you, get your company set up with a web hosting company. You need to have a web page, right? I'll show you how to create your own web page. I'll show you how to set up your company email. I want to show you all about the Microsoft products and how they can be useful to you in your journey. Okay, Microsoft Word, for instance, it's not just a word processor. There are so many things you can do. Combine that with Microsoft Excel, and you get these mail merge you get a mail merge, and you spit out letters that need to go out. Depending on, are you doing subject to, or are you doing excess funds? I'm going to teach you how to use the tools to assist you, or to do your marketing campaigns. In fact, I'll teach you how to do lead generation. Okay, subject to, excess funds. Excess funds, when you get into excess funds, the lead generation is actually quite simple. Okay, it's the parts that come after that you really need to know what you're doing. You need to be prepared for. When you're doing excess funds, you're going to be trying to contact a lot of people. Well, how do you keep track of all that? How do you organize that? Well, you have a CRM, a customer relational management program. Okay, and we'll talk about how do you select one, how do you customize one for what you want to do. I've already done all this. Okay, so I'm going to sit here and I'm going to teach you how to do it as well. Do you have a phone system? Most small companies, entrepreneurial companies like us, our phone system is in the cloud. Okay, which one do you want to use? We've used a couple. We've settled on one. I can help you set it up. I can teach you how to set it up. So there's a lot of things here, a lot of tools, a lot of back office tools that never get talked about, but are a very, very necessary part of your success as you go through this journey. Okay, that's pretty much what I'm going to offer. That's pretty much what I'm going to bring to the table here for you. And of course, you know, the list I have up here, these are my thoughts. What I hope happens is that as we start to get people signed up, they're going to say, hey, Mark, I'm really interested in this. Can you work it in? Absolutely. You know, this is, I'm doing this for your benefit, but I'm also here to make sure you're successful. So, you know, I'm going to listen to you and allow you to guide me as we go through this as well. All right, so that is who I am, and that's what I'm going to be doing for you. There's a third member of our team, Miriam Rose, and unfortunately she had obligations and could not make it tonight. But Miriam is an expert in social media. Okay, so she's going to guide you through, you know, your branding, your Facebook page, your Twitter page, your LinkedIn page. You know, Twitter and LinkedIn, those are not so complicated. Facebook, on the other hand, oh my God, there's a whole world wrapped around Facebook. And there's a lot of rabbit wormholes that you can fall down, a lot of rabbit holes, but there are steps that you're going to have to take to be successful. So with that, we knew that Miriam couldn't be here today, but she did produce a video, and I'm going to play the video. It's her, and she's going to talk about what she wants to do, about how she wants to be able to help you. So if you'll bear with me for just a second, I'm going to get this video started up.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. My name is Miriam Rose, and I'll be helping to do some of the courses that we have on branding. Branding is such an integral part to who you are as a person. It reflects every single area of your life, not just online, but offline, and how you present yourself. And so we're going to be talking about the very, very basics of branding, everything from what's the most basic thing you can think of? Setting up a Facebook page, setting up a Facebook group, setting up your LinkedIn account, what type of connections you should have, how to go after those connections, how to use your voice in a way that's consistent with who you are as a person. And we'll also talk about when you do video calls, the lighting, what you should have in the background, things that keep it as simple and as uncomplicated as possible. A little bit about myself. I actually got pulled into this by Richard because I don't know somehow I got in, and I'm excited about that. Yeah, but Richard is actually one of my mentors, and I have learned so much under his leadership in such a short amount of time. What I've really appreciated about the way that he communicates is that he doesn't just go through like books and books and books and tells you, okay, you should read about this section and this section. He's very practical in the way that he approaches things. And so even though he's well versed in selling techniques and methodologies, he doesn't come across like he's talking at you like he's a book and full of knowledge and resources, but the way that he talks is so simple that it's very easy to apply these steps. And sometimes they come across as so simple that you think, that can't possibly be what it's about. But it is, because I've actually had success in my own life using the sales techniques that he talks about as well too. And as one of the top sellers at a previous company, because of his guidance, I've been able to leverage that into these other companies that I've joined as well too. And so you're in for a treat, because the revelation and the amount of expertise that he has is of a person who's been through the trenches and knows what he's talking about and knows how to deliver results. And the best part is you don't have to experiment, because he's already done all the experimenting, what works, what doesn't work. And so what you get is not just a crash course in learning how to do things, but actually a way to navigate everything. Okay, so let's do a little mind game real quick. Not really game, but what comes to mind when you think about these brands? Coca-Cola, Pepsi, JCPenney, Tesla, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Bill Gates. I don't know if I went a little too fast on those, but each of those companies have very strong branding attached to them, and each of those individuals also have their own branding associated with them, right? Like Tesla and Elon Musk, there's the brand and there's the person, right? And they're in a lot of ways one and the same, forward thinking, innovative, and driven. And on the other side, very different personalities, not so much, right? They're kind of one and the same. And so that's what we're going to take you through during the branding course, is making sure that your branding with your company or your LLC or however you format that matches up with who you are as a person, so that it's one and the same. So that when you're looking at Rose Real Estate versus Miriam Rose, you immediately have the same feeling and the same emotion go out to it. Like if you want somebody that closes fast, somebody that's in the know about the hot market, somebody that delivers on their promises, that they're one and the same as well too. Maybe. We're also going to talk about target marketing. Target marketing is very, very crucial, because when you know who your audience is, then you're going to know what type of voice that you need to lend to. And so say you're going after old grandmas, you're not going to use slang with them, you're going to use grandma language, right? It's the same thing. So we're going to talk about target market, who those people look like in your particular neck of the woods, and how to best effectively communicate with them. We're also going to talk about how are you going to strategically set yourself apart using your branding. What are the top 3 things that you are really good at this moment in time that your best friends or people that trust you love about you? And so for me, I would say it's follow through, it's written communication, and it's also excitement and charisma. That's what I feel the people that are closest to me know me for. And so I personally will be using those 3 items as my #1 selling point about me. So if I'm going to be looking into writing to people about like, hey, use your money to invest in me so that I can invest in these properties for you, I'm going to use my charisma. I was going to say charismatic. That's why charisma. And I'm going to use my follow through. After I write you that letter, that well-written communication, I'm going to follow through with you. And I'm going to make sure that I get an answer. Is it a yes? Is it a no? Is it I'll think about it? And if it's an I think about it, let me know why you're thinking about it, because we obviously didn't go through the stages quite well enough. And so we're going to determine as well too, what are your top 3 branding items that can flow from your company and from yourself as well too, so that they're one and the same, and that you submit a really strong presence, not just online, but in person, over the phone, and on email as well too. We're going to talk about tips and tricks regarding grammar as well too. Some people really like to use a lot of language to say few things. And we're going to talk about how in the digital age, less is more. And if they want more, they'll click more and they'll ask for more. And so we're going to talk about how using short, simple sentences evoke the best online presence. And that way you can get where you need to go with effective communication. Another part that we'll talk about as well too is how often should you be communicating your target messaging. And I'm also going to introduce you to online social sharing sites that will help you stay up to date on social media. It is, you know, there's a lot of really great social media sites that do such a good job of automation that really alleviate a lot of the admin tasks that you have to deal with social media and branding your sites. You know, a lot of us are one-man shops, right? Or one-woman shops. And so having more time to your day to actually sell and engage and to get those resources that you need to actually complete the sell is extremely important. And so I'm going to show you what I personally use for mine. And it's very effective in pushing out information that is evergreen. Well, I call it evergreen information. It's information that's always relevant and that people really do need to know about. And so if you're kind of on the spectrum of like, I want to make I would love my site to mention famous quotes, or I would like them to ask silly questions, or I would like to build discussion around XYZ criteria or what have you. Things that, or I would like to be more informative and I would like to have Q&As, you know, that typically when people come to me, they have questions and it's usually the same questions. How do I address these questions? And so I'll talk about how you can format that into an automated type of a platform that's not associated at all to this program, but helps with automation and pushing your branding out so that when you actually have, so that there's no lags in communication for you. And then it'll also show you how to, well, you'll be using it, you can use that platform so that you have no lags, like I just said. And also when you're ready to communicate, you can communicate whenever you want to as well too. So it looks like you're doing extra work when you're actually just doing what you need to do and having that, you know, that consistent online presence. One of the main things about people who get started is that they do so much so soon, so fast that they burn out and they run out of run rate and they're just done because they just can't keep up. And so this tool that I'm going to show you within our branding session is something that will definitely help as well too, to just help you have that like slow and steady wins the race type of attitude and just being able to help you get to where you need to go. And lastly, I have noticed that quite a few people have the trouble with actually setting up Facebook pages, Facebook groups. So I will spend about 5 to 10 minutes within our group as well too, within our session, showing this is why you set up a Facebook group, this is how you set up a Facebook group, and this is why you'd create a Facebook page and what the differences are between the two and how to get the most out of that as well. And that will enable you to leapfrog over the hurdles of just being frustrated and trying to figure all of that out. Just, I will show you, I go step by step where you put what, how you get started. And so that will really help leapfrog you forward and help you to be that much more productive in what you're trying to accomplish. I can't say enough about how amazing this opportunity is. And you will definitely get more than your money's worth out of this program. We are here for your 1,000% success. We are cheering for you. Your success is our success. And we are so excited to have you join in this moment. Definitely leverage the Facebook groups, the LinkedIn groups that we've created for whatever questions you may have to help get you up and running. And just, you know, to just have a think tank and support around you as well too. Looking forward to getting to know you and just seeing you succeed and seeing where this will take you. You'll definitely get out what you put in times that. So if you are dedicated to your success and you're committed to doing what it takes to be successful and doing the little steps, you will get to the big steps. So little steps lead to big adventures, and you have an amazing guide. You have just a phenomenal opportunity to learn from somebody who's been in the trenches, who has done all of the grunt work and has made it into this simplified solution, simplified program that will just skyrocket you 1,001%. Thank you all so much. Feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Okay, well, guys, that was Miriam. I hope that that the quality was okay. We are going to post that video on our Facebook site, on our Facebook page, excuse me. So if you'd like to hear that or hear my part of the presentation again, we'll have that up there as well. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Richard so that he can make his closing comments. And thank you for participating today. I really hope I get an opportunity to meet y'all later on.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. How could you not be excited having a team like I've been able to assemble? I mean, Mark, I've known forever and a day. He is one of the most can-do, will-do, got-it-done kind of people you've ever met in your life. Miriam is just a true queen of social media. She's a pretty noted blogger. She has written tons and tons of material and has supported herself with her writing, and just does a phenomenal job. So who couldn't be successful having this team in place? I just wanted to close out by saying thank you so much for spending. We went a little bit over, but we're at 45 minutes here. I'm so proud of my team.
Well, folks, it looks like we lost Richard in mid-sentence, but I'm sure what he wanted to say was thank you. I hope we get to hear from you again soon. Now, tomorrow we'll be doing the third part of this webinar series, where we're going to dive into the nuts and bolts of our program even deeper. So if you'll attend tomorrow, you'll get to learn a lot more about the program and about the different programs, I should say, that we're going to be offering. So with that, have a great evening. Thanks again. Take care and be safe.